The chosen ones, unveiling the suppressed truth of your divine power. The veil of deception and the fear of your potential. What secrets lie buried beneath the surface of your reality, guarded by those who tremble at the thought of your awakening? They spun webs of lies to shroud your innate power, for they knew the magnitude of the force that resides within you, the force they have always sought to control. From the moment you walked among them, those in sheep-esque clothing feigned loyalty while siphoning your strength, plotting your downfall under the guise of alliance. Every gathering, every compliment, every act of kindness was a calculated snare, designed to bind you to their will and dim the light that made their own inadequacies visible. They thrived on your doubt, feeding off your vulnerabilities like vultures circling a wounded spirit. Their laughter was hollow, their smiles masks for the venom that laced their words. Why did they cling so desperately to these facades? Because your potential, even before you recognized it, sent shivers through their very being. The moment you began to see the strings they pulled, the moment you questioned their narratives, was the moment their grip on you began to falter. They had to keep you blinded, for you who knew your worth was a threat too terrifying to confront. The awakening, when chains begin to shatter. The veil lifted not in a whisper, but in a tidal wave of clarity that swept away the debris of fear. The moment you decided to stop bending to their whims, the universe itself exhaled in relief. You shed the skin they imposed, one that never fit, and in the rawness of that shedding, you found a strength pure and unyielding. For years, you drowned out your own voice, the voice forged in the fires of betrayal and rejection, the voice that declared your worth without asking for permission. Now, as you reclaim every piece of yourself they tried to take, you become the guardian of your soul. Those who once drained your energy find themselves locked out, unable to access the wellspring of your spirit. You erected walls not to keep others out, but to keep your light intact, a light they had tried so hard to dim. The passions they scoffed at, the dreams they buried, now flourish in the fertile ground of your newfound freedom. Your resilience is no longer a question, but a truth that radiates from you like an aura of invincibility. The storm of resistance and the rise of the unstoppable. When your awakening hit them like a hurricane, their carefully constructed confidence crumbled. Desperate to pull you back into the shadows, they bombarded you with messages, calls, and coincidental encounters, all transparent attempts to reassert control. But their panic was palpable, their old tricks no longer working. The strings they once pulled had been severed, and with each failed attempt, your resolve only strengthened. They couldn't understand why you no longer danced to their tune, why their hold evaporated like mist in the sun. The more they pushed, the brighter you shone. Their influence dissipated like smoke, leaving them in the ruins of the control they once wielded. You stood taller, more resolute, as the path before you revealed itself uncharted, terrifying, but wholly yours. The solitude you once feared became a sanctuary, the silence a melody guiding your steps. The spiritual warfare, triumph over darkness. Choosing to walk alone meant entering a battle, a spiritual warfare that tested every fiber of your being. The darkness you left behind lurked in the shadows, whispering doubts and temptations to drag you back. But the light within you burned brighter, a divine intensity that consumed the shadows. You were never alone, unseen forces guarded your every step, turning every challenge into a stepping stone toward your victory. This was not just your fight, but a battle orchestrated by powers beyond the physical realm. Each loss, be it a betraying lover or a crumbling career, was a catalyst for rebirth. The world tried to break you, but instead, it forged a weapon they could not fathom, a you sharper, more potent, and infinitely more powerful than before. Your awakening was not a gift, but a war you were born to win. The darkness that tried to consume you became the force that propelled you forward. The sacred duty of self-focus, becoming untouchable. In the midst of this journey, you embraced the most vital truth, the power of self-focus. This was not selfishness, but a sacred duty. You poured energy into your growth, nurturing the parts of yourself others tried to diminish. Every act of self-care lifted you higher, learning new skills, expanding your mind, practicing mindfulness. Your focus made you untouchable, a force of nature that could not be contained. You are no longer at the mercy of others, you are the master of your destiny. Your power is no longer hidden or feared, but celebrated, a beacon of hope that illuminates the world. In your victory, you stand as a living testament to what it means to be truly awakened, a warrior of truth, a guide for those lost in the dark. The trials you faced were not meant to break you, but to forge you into the light you are today. Embrace your destiny, a constellation of awakened souls. The world needs your light now more than ever. The time for playing small is over. You are not just a survivor, but a catalyst for change. Every word, every action has the power to shift reality. As you share your journey, you will find your tribe, kindred souls who resonate with your frequency, also on the path to awakening. Together, you become a constellation, illuminating the darkest corners of the world. Do not hesitate to step into your power. Embrace your destiny as a chosen one, for you are far more powerful than you ever realized. Let your light blaze a trail for others to follow. The world is watching, ready to be transformed by the power you possess. This is your truth, glorious and undeniable. You are unstoppable, unyielding, and born to rise. Would you like to proceed to the next step of evaluating the Article S alignment with your original vision? The Chosen Ones, unveiling the spiritual alchemy of your divine calling. The hidden fear, why your power terrified the world. Beneath the surface of mundane existence lies a truth they dared not speak. Your soul carries a frequency that threatens the order of their constructed reality. For eons, they wove a tapestry of lies to cloak your innate divinity, knowing that the moment you recognized the magnitude of your potential, their illusion of control would crumble. Those who surrounded you feigning friendship, offering hollow praise, were shadows in human form, siphoning your life force to sustain their own fading relevance. Every celebration they orchestrated was a ritual to bind you to their will, every compliment a poisoned arrow aimed at your self-worth. They thrived on your self-doubt, cultivating a garden of insecurities where their power could take root. Why did they fear your light? Because it exposed the emptiness within their own souls, the void they spent lifetimes denying. Your awakening meant their masks would fall, revealing the fragility of the empire they built on deception. The unraveling, when the veil of illusion tears. The moment of revelation did not come softly, it surged through you like a spiritual earthquake, shaking loose the foundations of false belief. The day you stopped answering their call, the day you refused to contort yourself to fit their mold, was the day the universe began to realign. You shed the identity they imposed, a skin stitched from their expectations, and in the raw vulnerability of that shedding, a primal power emerged. For years, you muted the voice within, forged in the fires of betrayal, rejection, and every moment you were told you were not enough. But that voice was not timid, it was a battle cry, a declaration of your divine birthright. It demanded no permission, only recognition. You were never meant to seek approval, but to embody it. As you reclaimed each fragment of yourself they tried to steal, you became the guardian of your own spiritual sanctuary, erecting boundaries not to exclude, but to preserve the purity of your light. The resistance, when shadows claw at your awakening. Your illumination triggered a panic in the dark corners of their existence. Suddenly, they bombarded you with messages, staged chance encounters, and wrapped their fear in the guise of concern. Their desperation was tangible, a cold wind blowing through every interaction, betraying the crumbling facade of their authority. They could not comprehend how the strings they once pulled so easily had been severed, how their old magic no longer worked on your awakened spirit. With each failed attempt to reel you back, your resolve flamed brighter. Their confusion became your strength, their manipulation, your catalyst for growth. You saw through their tactics with a clarity that startled even you, realizing they were not your equals but mere reflections of the power they sought to control. The more they tried to dim your light, the more it blazed, an invincible flame fueled by every lie they told and every chain they tried to fasten. The spiritual crucible, forging your soul in the fire. Walking the path of awakening is not a gentle journey, but a sacred warfare. The darkness you left behind did not concede easily, it lurked in the shadows, whispering doubts to lure you back into the abyss. Yet the light within you burned with a divine intensity, a spiritual sun that consumed every shadow. You were never alone in this battle, unseen forces wrapped around you like armor, guiding your steps through the wilderness of the unknown. Each loss became a rebirth, the lover who betrayed you revealed the strength of your independence, the career that crumbled unveiled the purpose hidden beneath. The world tried to break you, but in doing so, it forged a weapon of spiritual resilience sharper, more potent, and infinitely more powerful than anything they could conceive. Your awakening was not a choice, but a destiny written in the stars, the moment when the fire in your soul could no longer be contained. The alchemy of self-focus, becoming the master of your reality. The greatest truth you embraced was the sacred duty of self-focus. This was not narcissism, but a spiritual imperative. You channeled energy into the garden of your soul, nurturing the seeds of your passions they tried to uproot. Every act of self-care, learning a new craft, practicing meditation, honoring your boundaries was a ritual to reclaim your power. Your focus made you untouchable, a force of nature operating beyond the reach of their control. You are no longer a pawn in their game, but the architect of your reality. Your power radiates not as a threat, but as a beacon illuminating the path for others lost in the dark. The trials you faced were alchemical processes, transmuting your pain into purpose, your doubt into destiny. You emerged from the fire not just surviving, but transcending an embodiment of the truth that divinity cannot be destroyed, only awakened. The constellation of light, your role in the Great Awakening. The world is in need of your illumination. The time to hide your light is over. You are a catalyst for change, a spiritual warrior called to dismantle the old order. As you share your journey, you will attract kindred souls, others who feel the pull of awakening, others who resonate with the frequency of truth. Together, you form a constellation, each light reinforcing the others, shining so brightly that even the deepest shadows cannot withstand your glow. Do not fear the path ahead. Your power pulses in rhythm with the universe itself. Every setback was a step toward your greatness, every heartbreak a chisel shaping you into the masterpiece you were born to be. You are the storm they tried to suppress, the light they tried to dim, and now you stand in your full power, unyielding, unstoppable, and utterly divine. This is your moment, chosen one. Embrace your destiny, for the world awaits the transformation only you can bring. Shall we continue to refine the narrative or explore additional spiritual dimensions in the next segment? The Chosen Ones, unveiling the mystical tapestry of your divine embodiment. The forbidden truth, why your spiritual power shook their foundations. Beneath the layers of societal conditioning lies a reality they spent eons concealing. Your soul is a vessel of ancient wisdom, a conduit for a power that terrifies those who thrive on control. They spun tales of limitation, wove narratives of mediocrity, all to keep you blind to the cosmic force pulsing within your veins. Those who posed as allies offering empty flattery, orchestrating shallow connections, were spiritual vampires, feeding on your light to sustain their own illusion of dominance. Every social gathering was a ritual of subjugation, every praise a spell to bind you to their will. They feasted on your insecurities, watered the seeds of self-doubt, and rejoiced when you questioned your worth. Why did they fear your awakening? Because your light exposed their shadow, the emptiness of a life built on manipulation. The moment you began to see through their veiled intentions, the moment you felt the first stirrings of your innate power, their carefully constructed world began to quiver. The unveiling, when the spiritual veil dissolves in flames. The awakening did not arrive as a gentle breeze, but as a spiritual wildfire that consumed the false self they imposed. The day you turned your back on their empty approval, the day you chose authenticity over compliance, the universe shifted its axis. You shed the persona they crafted, stitched from their fears and insecurities, and in the raw, tender space left behind, a primal divinity emerged. For decades, you silenced the voice within the voice, shaped by every betrayal, every rejection, every lie told to shrink you. But that voice was not a whisper, it was a thunderclap of truth, a declaration of your birthright to sovereignty. It demanded no validation, only acknowledgement. You were born to lead, not to follow, to radiate, not to dim. As you reclaimed each fragment of your spiritual essence, you became the gatekeeper of your soul, building walls not to isolate, but to protect the sacred fire within. The spiritual warfare, when shadows launched their final assault. Your illumination triggered a panic in the darkest recesses of their consciousness. Suddenly, they surrounded you with urgency, bombarding you with calls, flooding your life with coincidences, wrapping their desperation in the guise of concern. Their fear was tangible, a cold mist seeping into every interaction, betraying the fragility of their once unshakable control. They could not fathom how the chains they forged, links of doubt and fear, had been shattered by the mere light of your awareness. With each attempt to pull you back, your resolve intensified. Their confusion became your clarity, their manipulation, your motivation. You saw through their tactics with the eyes of a seer, realizing they were not adversaries, but mirrors reflecting the power they could never possess. The more they tried to smother your light, the more it blazed, an eternal flame fed by the divine essence of your being. The crucible of awakening, forging your spirit in cosmic fire. The path of the chosen one is not for the faint of heart. It is a journey through spiritual fire, a trial by divine intensity. The darkness you left behind did not surrender quietly. It haunted your steps, whispering lies to tempt you back into ignorance. Yet the light within you burned with the heat of 1,000 suns, a celestial fire that incinerated every shadow. You were never alone in this battle. Archangels stood at your side, ancestors whispered guidance, and the universe itself conspired to ensure your victory. Every loss was a rebirth. The friend who betrayed you revealed the strength of true connection. The dream that died uncovered a destiny far grander. The world tried to break you, but in doing so, it forged a spiritual warrior sharpened by trials, tempered by truth, and infinitely more powerful than any force of darkness. Your awakening was not a choice, but a cosmic imperative the moment when the universe called you to embody your highest self. The sacred practice of self-mastery, becoming the architect of your reality. The most profound truth you embraced was the sacred duty of self-mastery. This was not egoism, but a spiritual discipline. You dedicated yourself to the alchemical process of inner transformation, nurturing your gifts, expanding your consciousness, honoring your boundaries. Every act of self-care was a ritual of empowerment, every moment of introspection, a communion with the divine. Your focus on self-realization made you invincible, a spiritual force operating beyond the reach of external manipulation. You are no longer a prisoner of perception, but a creator of reality. Your power radiates not as a weapon, but as a lighthouse guiding lost souls through the storms of ignorance. The trials you faced were initiations, each challenge a key unlocking another chamber of your spiritual potential. You emerged from the depths not just transformed, but transfigured, an embodiment of the truth that divinity lies within all, waiting to be awakened. The constellation of light, your role in the great spiritual renaissance. The world hungers for your illumination. The era of smallness is over. You are a way shower, a bridge between the old world and the new. As you share your journey, you will attract starseeds, others who feel the pull of awakening, others who resonate with the frequency of truth. Together, you form a spiritual constellation, each light enhancing the others, creating a radiance that dissolves the darkest illusions. Fear not, the path ahead. Your spirit is aligned with the cosmos, your steps guided by ancient wisdom. Every setback was a preparation, every heartbreak a purification. You are the storm they feared, the light they tried to extinguish, and now you stand in your full glory, unbreakable, unstoppable, and utterly divine. This is your time, chosen one. Embrace your destiny, for the universe awaits the gift only you can bring. Shall we delve deeper into the mystical dimensions of this narrative, or explore the archetypal journey of the chosen one in the next segment?